I had no idea. I was like, oh, it's just hard because you stay up late. That's not even like the hard part.
Cause I'm your sister and always for you. And I don't know what I'd ever do without you from the beginning.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel.
I know it's been a couple of weeks. We were on a roll for quarantine, but we back at it.
Back at it. And today we're gonna talk about what we wish we would have known before we entered the law firms, big law, started working, all that type of stuff.
Had a career.
And
this is one of those videos where we really welcome feedback in the comments because we think it's super important for everyone to have as much information as possible before they do start their endeavors, like our what we wish we would have known before law school video. I feel like it was great that we got tons of feedback in the comments on that one. So do the same here, whether you're a lawyer, someone who heard things from lawyers, whomever, like welcome it.
Exactly. If you disagree, let us know.
Exactly.
So you want to jump into it?
I want to jump into it?
Sure.
Okay. What's the first thing that I wish I would have known?
Yeah, before we work, and also for anyone who's new to our channel, me and Sam, we both work in big law. We work at law firms downtown in New York City. Well, downtown, right now we're all online.
Downtown is my
Downtown
home.
is like where we usually are. So just for some context, so that's gonna be, I feel like this is very probably like big law specific, or law firm specific. So just wanted to like throw that out there.
The first thing I think I wouldn't know is that so much beyond the substantive aspects of the law would be new to me or unfamiliar. So kind of like when you started law school and you were learning legalese and different procedures and things like that, I think it's the same experience when it comes to learning how to navigate your work product. So I'll give an example, this is a very simple concept, but I remember I stumbled when I heard it because I had no idea what she was talking about. In one of my emails, someone told me, yeah, send over a placeholder, very nonchalantly. And I was just like, what the heck is a placeholder? You know?
It's not a legal term.
It's not a legal term. And for anyone, it's just like a one-off email saying, hey, like we'll get back to you on this or we'll circle back. But had nowhere to look, right? Because it's not legal, so I can't look at precedent or anything like that. I obviously don't want to go back to her like, what's a placeholder? Because I don't want to look like I don't know what a placeholder is, even though I don't know what a placeholder is. I basically had to ask around like, hey, do you know what this is? And kind of use context and figure it out. But I feel like there have been a number of cases where I've had instances like that. And it's just like, I think that's something you should know.
Yeah, I wanna, not to like steal yours, but I can relate to that so much because like there was a time where I got like a long explanation of what to do, and like to understand what she said, I needed to understand what a writer was, and I was like, I have no idea what that is, and like that was like a basic thing I needed to know to like get it done. So it's like, I just asked her like, what's a writer?
Just to confirm.
Just to confirm. That's real.
That has been an interesting experience where I feel like you probably have a wealth of knowledge when it just comes to business terms and email terms and means of communicating.
What's a black line versus a red line?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's real. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind for me is that I did not know I was gonna get the law firm 15. Like, I was not expecting that. I went through law school and college kind of like not experiencing that because, I don't know, I guess I was younger too. I don't know what it is, but like, so I was really caught off guard. And our summers, when we summered at these places, as like a lot of y'all know, and there's so many events and there's like all this food and stuff. I still never really like gained weight at these things. It's like starting out working, I feel like, I don't know, I gained a lot of weight, and I think it's because like you're sitting down all day. It's harder to find time to work out. I was like eating all of my meals at the firm. So I was like, man, I'm getting freshman 15, like, I don't know what this feels like. So that was like really shocking to me. Something I'm still working on, but yeah.
I agree. I feel like that's the fastest I've ever gained weight in my life too.
Fastest.
But I like chalked it up to being old now.
You chalked it up to being old?
But it's like, I don't know if that's true. Like I have this slow.
But it's like what happened between like 2 months ago you were old, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like I haven't mastered the art yet of preparing my own meals and things like that, which I think would really help.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we are eating trash for lunch.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes dinner.
A lot of times dinner.
A lot of times dinner. So I guess the next thing that I wish I would have known is that hours don't match up how I assume they would, if this makes sense. So let us know if you want us to do a more in-depth video on billable hours. But before I started working, I assumed that if I worked for 10 hours, I would spend 10 hours doing an assignment. However, that's not always the case. So you can work, let's say, 14 hours a day, but only 7 of those hours were actually spent doing substantive work, but you were like sitting around waiting for emails, waiting for comments, things like that. Like you can go a whole 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. without getting any substantive assignment, and at 6 p.m. it's like, here you go.
Yeah.
It's like you just worked your 7 hours, but now you're gonna start the assignment, which is due by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So now you've only built X, Y, and Z amount of hours, but at the same time, you've worked all day.
Yeah, exactly. And like to feed off of that goes into one of mine too, is that like, I have like 2 things to say about that actually. Because I thought that what made Big Law hard was the amount of time you put in. But now I realize, for me, I think it's the stress more so than like the amount of times you work. Because I think that for my practice group, there's a lot of tight deadlines. So like, it's not so much about the fact that I just worked however many 60 hours this week. It's about the fact that I had to hurry and get a lot of things out before 5 or before 12, or like you're going back and forth. So I think like the stress was a little bit surprising to me. And like what kind of this feedback, this is also like piggybacking off of what Sam just said, is that an hour is not an hour is not an hour. So like there could be a week that goes by that work 40 hours and I feel like it was kind of chill. And then there's another week where like I can go 40 hours and I feel like it was so stressful because like that whole time I was like on edge, had to like submit things really, really quickly, work really, really fast. And like that's not the same thing. And I didn't think about that. I was like, oh, it's just hard because you're working a lot. And it's like, sometimes I can work a lot and not feel any type of way about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I work a lot and I'm like, ooh, this is stressful. So
I agree. Like if I was working all the time, but it was with non-stressful hours, it'd be fine.
yeah, you're just reviewing like agreements. Yeah.
A bunch of hours.
Yeah.
But it's not the case.
Exactly.
A lot of times it's like the work itself is like intense and very stressful.
Deals can move really fast, so it's like you have to stay on top of it. Like hella emails coming in, like that's what can make it stressful. And I had no idea. I was like, oh, it's just hard because you stay up late. That's not even like the hard part.
Right, and in terms of that, I would go even further for me personally when it comes to deadlines. Even when the deadlines aren't tight, I feel like I'm always under a time constraint. And that's something that I didn't expect. Something can be due next week, but I still feel like I have to get this out immediately, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, so that it's still I'm still working on a time constrained environment when the environment is not even time constrained. And I feel like that's just a product of work. Yeah. I don't know if it's just me, my anxiety, whatever it is, but
no, I think that's definitely a product of the environment.
I guess another thing that I didn't realize that we would have to do is literally learn the people whom you work under, if this makes sense. So kind of like in law school, how you had to learn your professors, learn what your professors wanted in order to do good on an exam. So beyond learning the substance in law, everything like that, you still have to learn what your professors want so you can put that back out. You have to learn what the people whom you're submitting the product to want from you, if that makes sense. So just even on a responsive level, I'll give an example. Some people will want you to say, will do, when they ask you to do something so that they know, hey, you're on it. And other people will assume that you're on it if they actually do something and you don't respond saying you can't do it. Imagine if you thought that you were working with someone who believed that you would write will do in response to a request, but they just assume that you're gonna do the request, so then you don't do it, no one does it. You're like, I never said I was gonna do it, but now, you can imagine what kind of predicament you're in because of that. So I think it's really, really important to learn the working styles of everyone you're working with, whether it's people who work late in the morning, people who want you to be responsible all the time, people want you to get things out as fast as possible. All those things are important for you to figure out.
Yeah, and just I have like a little anecdote to that too, because I have some people I work with that, especially partners, they're kind of like high up and not involved in the weeds of everything all the time. And they like don't want to. Some people I work with don't want to be like, don't CC me on everything. I don't want my inbox blowing up. And then I worked with someone. I was used to that. I worked with someone else, and he's like, no, I want to be in the know. I want to know everything that's going on. So it's like, okay. So now I know when I work with so and so, CC him on everything. Right. So last thing for me is that So let me give my like perception of what I thought I was gonna be doing. So I really thought that I was gonna be like super, super fungible. Yeah, I'm a first year, like I don't know that much of the job. So like you can just swap me out with anybody else. And like my role on the deal teams or the teams I'm working on isn't gonna be that big, doing little things here and there. But for my experience, hasn't been like that at all. Like I feel like I'm more important than I thought I was gonna be. Like as bad as that sounds, and like if I'm not there, they actually do need someone to fill in for me. and I am the one like communicating the most with the other side, and like I'm kind of like sometimes a messenger, and just my role is just bigger than I thought. And like to the extent that other people can do it, yeah, like you learn on the job, but like once you learn that team, or once you learn that partner, or once you learn that deal, like you have a lot of knowledge, and it's like a lot to teach someone else all of that stuff.
Exactly.
And I didn't realize that, so I was like, oh, I actually do play, I can understand my role and like in how everything works. And like I didn't think that it would be that big of a deal.
Yeah, to further emphasize your point, I've definitely seen it even when it's not in relation to me, like when other people like second years had to transition off, like I still tap back in sometimes, like, hey, you worked on this 2 years ago, can you let me know where to find X, Y, and Z?
And it's like they're the only ones that know that information. Like
Exactly.
there's some people I work with, or some clients I work on, I'm the only one that goes physically to like due diligence or whatever. So it's like I'm literally the only one that knows. Like it's not like someone else is doing my work too. Like we're just comparing.
Yeah, it makes vacations very difficult.
Yeah.
Because if you're checking your email and you see things are falling apart, you kind of have to respond.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All right, so to close us off, I guess the final thing that I wish I would have known is more on a social level. So like one, you have to get to know your coworkers. You have to kind of make friends if you want to mobilize. At least like I wouldn't know yet because I'm only first year, but people always say these things. Like you realize in your 4th, 5th year, like I need to be making connections. And also, you're never gonna see people in your class. That's something I don't know. I just thought we were all gonna be so interconnected when we started because we were so interconnected as summers, but I never see people in my class unless it's trainings or events, things like that. But just on an everyday basis, I really just communicate with a lot of people above me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like the people that sat next to me when we were in the office were first years. I would see them, my office mate, and then sometimes I'll see people who meet up for lunch. But I thought it was gonna be like that too. Like we're all gonna be talking all the time.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, oh man, I don't see all the people that much.
But I guess the benefit is if you didn't like your class, then
you don't gotta see them.
you don't got to see them.
That's true. But if you like them,
Yeah,
it's like, you gotta keep the group chats popping.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well that's it from us. Let us know down in the comments if you have any more questions, or if you disagree with some of the things that we're saying, or you have a different perception. And yeah, that's it.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share, and watch out for more videos.
Peace, y'all.
Check. Did this for myself, don't need no help. I face all my demons by